to another edition of NAMI Tennessee Facebook Live at Home. We have been doing this for a long time. The holiday season is upon us. We're barreling into Christmas season. We've just left Thanksgiving. I guess we're just the holidays are here. I get excited about the holidays. I don't know why. I feel like I can hear jingles in my head, but it could be a completely different thing. Who knows? Listen, every single week I tell everybody about NAMI Tennessee's email list. And this week is no different. Go to namitn.org, and sign up for NAMI Tennessee's email list. It keeps you abreast of all of the cool things that NAMI Tennessee is doing. Things like, well, this right here, but also legislative advocacy things that you can participate in. We need everybody on board when it comes to making life better for those who live with mental illness and their families. And it's a very, very, very cool thing to do and a very easy lift. So again, just head over to namitn.org and sign right up. It's absolutely free, just like everything NAMI Tennessee does. All right, enough about that. Let's bring our guest on. Jeff, welcome to the show. Can you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Sure. Thanks for having me again, Gabe. My name is Jeff Howdyshelt. I work for Volunteer Behavioral Healthcare Systems, and my job title is Criminal Justice Liaison. And what I do is I go into 3 different county jails and assist those clients that may have mental health or substance abuse issues and try to connect them with resources and programs in the hopes that they will get out and never see a jail again.
Oh, did I lose you there?
Oh, you got me?
Oh, yep.
Okay. Did you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So the crux of the program is to help people get out of jail. Is that really the most simplistic way to put it? I know it's more involved than that, but it's to help people with mental illness who are sort of stuck in the system get the resources that they need to get treatment rather than be jailed. Is that a fair?
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, and it can happen a lot of different ways. A lot of referrals I get, some are from attorneys, district attorneys, private attorneys, and they're trying to get those clients into programs before they go to court, before they're sentenced or plead guilty to something. But a lot of my clients are referred to me from within the jails, and these clients are getting ready to be released. And what I do is I try to put a release plan in place for them and get them connected with those programs and services that they're going to need once they're released from jail, with the hopes, again, that we know that a continual care when somebody's released from jail will lead to a much less likely them going back into incarceration.
One of the things that seems to come up often when we talk about assisting people who are in jail is, well, aren't they criminals? Didn't they hurt somebody? Don't we want them off the streets? Unfortunately, society can be very, very narrow-minded when it comes to criminology in general. Can you address that just for a moment to the group of people that are just like, well, leave them there. That's where they belong.
Yeah, and I will tell you that, Gabe, as I told you, I come from a law enforcement and corrections background. I've been retired for 17 years now, but I will tell you this, I've been doing this for about the last 10, 12 years, and I will say that anybody deserves a second chance. It doesn't really matter what crime they committed. They're going to, if they're the judge sentenced them to some sort of sentence, they're going to pay their dues while they're in jail or in prison. But once they're released, they have the opportunity and should be given the opportunity to live a much better life and become a productive member of society.
Thank you so much for saying that. One of the things that I believe all of us want people to hear is we're not saying that people with mental illness get a free pass, right? We just want things to be appropriate. And we have learned, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we have learned that if you take somebody who is sick, suffering from a mental health issue, put them in jail, leave them there for 1, 2, 3, 5, months or longer, and then you release them back, they haven't addressed the underlying cause, which means not only are they not getting the help that they needed, but their reoffending rate is going to be much higher because they haven't addressed what caused the issue in the first place. And it's really beneficial to society if we can get those people help because, again, they won't reoffend. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, jails are not designed, they're not mental health facilities. They are designed to hold offenders that are pretrial, which means they have not been convicted of anything. and for those that are serving sentences. A lot of the jails do now offer mental health services or have a mental health provider or psych nurse there. Wilson County is very fortunate. They have a 40-hour-a-week psych nurse, and they do a great job as best they can trying to treat and medicate the clients or the offenders that are in custody. But again, it's not a mental health facility. There are no therapists, and it's really not designed for people that have mental illness. So again, connecting them with resources when they're released from jail. We want them to not go back into jail. So we want to connect them with those services before they get out.
Very, very true. Well, thank you so much for just illuminating us on that. Let's jump into our topic, the criminal justice program. Can you tell us what the criminal justice program is?
Yeah, the Criminal Justice Liaison program is specifically designed to work with inmates or offenders or clients, as I call them, that are in the criminal justice system, whether they be in jail or in the community, and suffer from a mental health issue or a substance abuse issue, and they need services upon their released or from jail. So that's specifically what the program is. We also have a lot of leeway in the services that we can provide. For instance, if a person needs help with a transitional living place upon release, there's been instances where we've been able to pay a deposit and some rent for that particular client. If a client is moving into a apartment, so to speak, and they don't have any clothing or furniture, there's been one client that we've been able to help with the local center and getting them furniture and the things they need to move into their house.
So it really is a very full-featured program. I think when I hear about the Criminal Justice Liaison program, I have this idea of a whole bunch of people in suits and briefcases marching into the jails or marching into a courthouse. But that's not what's happening here, right? It's sort of an advocacy program. Is that
Yeah, I tell the clients or the people that I talk to about it, I'm just kind of like a go-between. I'm a go-between the client and the jail, between them and their attorney, between them and their probation and parole officer. So basically, I tell people I don't really do a whole lot. But what I do is I try to make connections. And the more I do this, the more connections I make, it makes it easier for me to help those clients that are in jail.
Thank you so much. Now, you've mentioned clients a lot. Now, what type of client does the Criminal Justice Liaison program help? Who's the perfect client, for lack of a better phrasing?
Well, ideally, we want to help those people that have mental health issues first. But as you know, a large majority of clients that are in jail that have mental health issues also have what we call co-occurring disorders, which means they have a substance abuse issue as well. So most of my clients are dual diagnosis or co-occurring, and we just try to help them with the programs that they're going to need. Sometimes we cannot help clients if they have multiple charges in multiple counties. It's unfortunate, but we really can't do much with somebody that has charges in 3-4 different counties or may have a hold to go serve a sentence in another county. But if we can help those that have mental health and substance use issues, that's what we want to focus on.
Now, how do you determine that? I mean, I guess the question that I'm asking is, somebody's in jail and they say, I have mental illness. Is that enough? How do you know who is just saying that and who actually has a diagnosable mental illness?
Well, when I go in, I do an assessment, but I'm not a clinician, so I don't do a clinical assessment. But I go in and do an assessment. I ask them about their past life, their mental health issues, if they've had any treatment, their substance abuse history, any past treatment for that, medical issues, work, family, social issues. And all those things combined is just to give us an idea or give me an idea of what level of care that person may need. And sometimes I will talk to the nursing staff or the jail staff and ask them. I can view, in 2 of my 3 counties, I can view medical questionnaires when the clients or offenders come into jail, and they're asked specifically about mental health and medical issues. So that's another way I can find out the information.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, you mentioned that you get a lot of referrals. Who can refer? Where do you get them from? How does somebody get on the list to be in the program?
Well, in 2 of my 3 counties, I'm in the messaging or kiosk system, so I get a lot of referrals from the inmates or offenders themselves. I get some from private attorneys, public defenders, DAs. I've got one from a ER doctor last week. I get a lot from family and members and friends. All they have to do is just basically contact me, and we will add them onto our list. And the great thing is that the CGL program is just not in the 3 counties that I cover, but the governor has made a concerted effort to have a CGL in every county in the state. I know that's what they're working towards.
Now, when you talk about I know this is in my head. Can you refer yourself? If somebody watching this has a loved one who is in jail, can they pick up the phone and contact somebody, call somebody, or do they have to go through an agency?
No, they can go to the Tennessee Department of Mental Health Substance Abuse Services site and click on Help for Going to Court, and that will bring up the website for the Criminal Justice Liaisons in the state. So just find whichever county that person is located in, find out the contact information, send an email, call them, and we'll get the referral.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, I know you've mentioned some of this along the way, but sort of concisely, what type of help can you provide to clients? Because I imagine, even as I'm sitting here, I would think, oh, well, I'm in jail, my loved one is in jail, so the type of help that I want is for you to get them out of jail. Is that a service that you provide? And if so, how? And what other, and I know you've mentioned some other services that you're able to provide. Can you sort of give us a 10,000 square foot view of everything that you're able to do, starting with, can you get people with mental illness out of jail?
The short answer is I cannot. The only way I can assist somebody getting out of jail is possibly a furlough, going into treatment, or helping them get into a treatment program or get services that they're going to need as part of a plea bargain. And then also, if they've already served their sentence, to get those services in place before they're released. But specifically getting somebody out of jail, I cannot. Some of the things that I've helped with clients in the past is, again, helping with rent and a deposit. I've been able to help a couple clients that needed their driver's license back so they can get back and forth to work. So we're able to pay those fees, be able to pay some electric bills. A few clients we've been able to help get in a cell phone to help them get connected with their mental health provider, especially during COVID, when a lot of that stuff was being done by telephone or through video. That was vital. It's really the main thing is that if I have a question about something that I need to help all my clients with, I just email David Lennings. He's the program director for the state, our program manager, and I ask him if it's possible for help the clients out with that particular thing. If he says yes, we go for it, and if he says no, then we'll just have to find another way to help.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Now, Kim Jackson popped up and said she didn't catch the website to make the referral. I know it's on the Tennessee Department of Mental Health website, and so we don't have the exact one, but the instructions again, Jeff, please.
Yeah, you'll go to the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services website, and then you'll see a link. It says for help for people going to court, and you'll click on that link, and then that will bring up another link that shows you all the CGLs in the state.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Now, let's talk about types of what types of barriers that your clients face upon their release from custody, because it's not smooth sailing. They don't just walk out the door and everything is magically good.
Right.
I'm making an assumption, but please explain.
Well, you have to imagine this. I was reading a study the other day from the APA that says approximately 65% of the people in jail have a diagnosable mental health issue, and a larger number of that also has addiction issues. So imagine, like, if I were to get out of jail today, if I got arrested for something, I mean, I've got somebody to come pick me up. I've got a house to go stay in. I've got food. I've got clothing. I've got everything that I need. But imagine somebody that's been arrested for something. And a lot of my clients, to be honest with you, are not on any kind of mental health medications. They're not being treated prior to their arrest. So they get into jail. They're seen by the medical staff. They're put back on medications. So now the person's come up to be released. And a lot of my clients are homeless, to be frankly honest, and they don't have anywhere to go. So one of the barriers is housing. The other one is, where are they going to be seen for their mental health issues. How are they going to pay for their medication? How are they going to get back and forth to their appointments? How are they going to have clothing? How are they going to feed themselves? These are all simple questions for most of us. For somebody that's dealing with mental health issues coming out of jail, a lot of them, they just don't know the answer to those questions.
How do you help them find the answers? Because those are not simple things. I can't imagine that you can just sit across from a kitchen table and say, all right, I got this. These are bit like how to pay for it that's a huge question to answer.
Yeah. Well, the CGL program has what we call specific assistance funds, which we're able to meet some of these needs with. The problem is there's a limited amount of funds that we get each year, and but for the most part, there's a lot of other resources out there, and that's one of the biggest things that surprised me when I started this job is that my gosh, there's so much stuff out there. And as I met with a client last Friday, he said, I didn't know any of this stuff was out there. And I said, well, I think that's for a large part. For a majority of us, we just don't know what resources are out there. So the main thing is that if we can't meet that need, there's a ton of resources out there. You just have to be able to find which ones can. And I think that just comes from, doing the job and the experience and having coworkers and other people that you can rely on.
I know this is sort of a difficult question to answer, but what is your success rate helping people? And I know there's probably several different categories to determine success. One would be, do people get out of jail? 2, do people find treatment? 3, do they reoffend? So I know it's sort of cross category, but how effective is the program from where you sit?
Well, I wish I could tell you that's 100% effective, but I would be not telling the truth if I said that. Ideally, I went into this job thinking that if I could impact one person's life, it'd be well worth it. I will tell you that if a person gets out, and we try to put together a great plan for each client that's being released from jail, but as I tell each one of them, it's up to you and to follow through with the plan, because as much as I want to make you or have you do it, you can't do it for me. You got to want to do it for yourself. So those that go out and they follow through with their mental health care, that follow through with their treatment plan as prescribed, those will have pretty good outcomes. But again, I don't think I can specifically put a number or a percentage on which one will be successful or not, because to be honest with you, I've had some that I thought would end up right back in jail, and they proved me wrong. And I've had some that I thought would be a stellar person for this program and an advocate for the program, than to do well at all. But I will tell you, it does help, and that's the main thing.
Thank you so very, very much. Now, sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button. Apologize for that. Thank you so much. Now, you have volunteer services. So I understand that some folks who work in this program are volunteers. I guess, can you explain the volunteer services website, vbhcs.org? I've put it on the screen over there. I can't point in the right. There we go. Put it on the screen over there. Can you talk about that program a little bit and how to recruit and who you're looking for?
Well, actually, it's Volunteer Behavioral Healthcare System. That's the employer that I work for. And we are a community health, mental health provider. If you want to see about our open positions, just click on our website and it'll bring you up to those positions. But we offer a range of services. And again, I'm not a clinician, but just click on the website. And if you have any questions about the services that we offer, because we have multiple locations, and if it's a person that meets the criteria to work with us, then click on the information, click on the number, call the number, and they'll be happy to explain what services that we have. And if we cannot help that person, I'm sure they would be able to help connect them with another provider.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I do want to say that we got trolled a little bit. There was a website that came up on the screen. It started with VASF. Don't click it. Don't go there. Not a good site. I thought it was the site for the volunteer services website, but it turns out that somebody caught us. And don't go to that website. That's all I'm saying. Go to vbhcs.org. That is the correct website. I absolutely apologize for popping the wrong website on the screen. Every now and again, the trolls win. I don't know how it happened either, Jeff. I wasn't paying attention.
That's early in the week.
So, Jeff, when it comes to this program, I think people have trouble understanding whether or not their loved one is good for it. Now, it sounds like if they're in jail, they definitely qualify. Is it only for people who are currently in jail, or what about somebody who has charges pending or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, ideally we work with people in jail, but if the person has pending charges or is on probation or parole, and I think the grant actually says that the person's at risk of going back to jail or incarceration, we can certainly work with them. And we, of course, we wouldn't be able to meet with them at the jail, so we'd have to set up a meeting at the office in order to do the assessment and see what kind of services they may need.
Now, I know that early on you mentioned that you were a police officer for a number of years, and now you're sort of, I don't want to say on the other side of it, but you went from looking for offenders to helping offenders. That's a point of view that not a lot of people have. What's that like from your perspective, to be in the mindset of looking for people doing criminal activity to helping people who have done criminal activity? Because it seems like, at least from my vantage point, that those are polar opposite skill sets, and yet you've been highly successful on both sides.
Well, I think ideally, to be realistic, I mean, before I went into actual law enforcement, I worked at the jail in Nashville, and I supervised the floor that had mental health clients or inmates there for about 5 years. So that really gave me an insight, a unique perspective when I went out into law enforcement and started working on the street. So it wasn't so much that I was looking for criminals or criminal activity, but I think what it does, I always tell people that being in law enforcement or corrections, it's a people business. So you have to be able to communicate and deal and talk with people and deal with people, learn their circumstances or situations. So I think all that experience really helped me have a better understanding. And my family has been through these things myself. So it gives me a unique perspective because I have empathy for people that I deal with at the jails. And I also have an understanding of why they may have ended up where they're at. So I think all those things kind of gets me a unique skill set. And also all that experience also has allowed me to know some of the resources and things that I may need to help these people when I do interact with them.
That is wonderful. Well, I for one, am glad that this program exists. I think it is of vital importance because so many people, their criminal activity is because of symptoms. They didn't mean to, trash a convenience store. They thought they were fighting a dragon. Now, from the outside looking in, it just looks a lot like vandalism. It looks a lot like violence. But in their mind, they're fighting this dragon, and then of course that gets compounded because now they have the criminal record. Now they're in jail, so this affects so many things. And if they can't get treatment, they're just going to be right back where they started. Now, I could talk about this all day, but from your vantage point, Jeff, what message do you have for the general public to help stop this cycle? Because we really are putting very sick people in jail, and that doesn't serve anybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, again, I've been through this with my own family. So I understand. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes it's frustrating for me seeing some of my clients that are in jail in the situations why they're in jail. But I think the biggest thing that we need to do, as I was talking to a NAMI group the other day, is that sometimes it's not okay to talk about mental illness. But I would say that it's perfectly okay to talk about mental illness. There's been a lot of athletes that have come out recently, talking about their issues and problems with mental illness. I've had mental illness issues in the past myself, so I understand. So being there, support people. But we also need to understand that connecting people with resources and holding them accountable, helping them get to the programs and things they need, ensure they're taking their medications, ensure they're making their appointments. If they need to go to their probation officer, make sure they make their appointment. If they need to go to court, make sure they're there. But the main thing is just to encourage them. Again, I know it's frustrating, but a lot of my clients, their family members, have basically just written them off. And I'm thankful for some that are very, very much involved in their loved one's life and in their situation and circumstance. And I wish we had more people that were like that. So what I want to tell everybody is don't give up on someone just because they've had a hard time or going through a lot of struggles. Don't give up on them. Every person has value. Every person has worth. And just because they have mental illness doesn't mean they're any less of a person than we are. But try to provide those people hope. That's the main thing I try to do is just give people hope.
Jeff, thank you so much. I know we're winding down. We're running out of time. Is there any other messages, information that you want to pass on to the people watching to make sure that they have everything that they need and they know where to find you? And just any final thoughts?
Yeah, again, thank you, Gabe, for letting me come on today and speak about the program and the things that we do. But in order to find a person, criminal justice liaison, go to the Tennessee Department of Mental Health Services or Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services and click on the link that says help for people going to court. It will bring up a list of every person in the state. And all you need to do is just identify what county your loved one's in or your friend is in. And that'll give you the contact information for that CGL. Just call them, email them, and make a referral. And then we'll do what we can to try to help someone out. Again, if the person's not in jail, but they are involved in the criminal justice system, you can also make a referral for us to work with them. Again, Gabe, I just want to say thank you for letting us come on and hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you so much. And you have a Merry Christmas as well. And happy holidays, everybody. Listen, if you have not signed up for NAMI Tennessee's email list, I mean, even Jeff knows what I'm going to say at this point. You got to sign up for it. It's where you find out about all the advocacy things that we're doing, all of the fun stuff that we're doing, including holiday parties, NAMI walks, galas. Listen, everything that NAMI Tennessee does is on this email list, and it's completely free. So please join NAMI Tennessee's email list just by heading over to NAMITN.org. We will see everybody next week on NAMI Tennessee at Home Facebook Live. Bye, everyone.